I need sleep. But I guess they got more information on what's his name? The with the Russia and Trump and the alleged voter fraud with that Finley guy. And you know what? He looks like one of those people that are short. That got like I think they're like Hitler. You know how like they always did those Hitler things on the History Channel. I think what's really funny to me is with these skinheads and these little racist people. And I'm not saying Finn is racist. I really don't know uh, him, except for I do think that he might be a traitor. If you talk and you made arrangements to put Trump in the office, I think that's a treason act. Um, well, but um, Hitler lost. He lost miserably. Yeah, he did kill a lot of people, and yes, he did kill Jews. Finley, Trump, um, and of course, war. Everybody, all the citizens get killed. So, so if there was other people that was the whole thing with the war is that you kill people. The more people you kill, like when I was like I remember Vietnam War, they was always doing their body count. Every day it was like, how many people died that day. It was like it was a fucking contest. But it's that's war is when you go to war, people you can come back you come back in a coffin, you can come back wounded, you know, it's a big sacrifice that you have to take, not only being away from your family, but being in a place where not, people will shoot at you. You know, I think like I would like to send some of those people up North Dakota, those policemen and whatnot, to Syria in a war zone, because then they'll see how it is to have somebody that really is aggressive and really is attacking you. You know, but nobody. But anyway, who cares? Uh, I mean, like, well, I do care about what's going on with our water in North Dakota, because I think that also Trump's friend Russia, there's a reason why we had problems with Russia and their policies, but it's Trump friend Putin. Putin is probably just like, just Putin worked with his intelligence. Putin could wrap Trump little mind around his finger. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does for a living. So, Putin has this fool that he can manipulate. They found something. Mayonnaise. Too much mayonnaise. And they found something in common, and usually what they would use is racism. Is race. Right. Like they were telling me, like, um, well, like, what do you mix with? You know, we were like, or they'll say like, oh, in America, rather say, well, in America, it doesn't matter what you mix with, you got 1% black and you're black. You know, and and you can't be any other really religion except for Christian. You know, well, at that time you could be Muslim. They didn't associate um, Muslims with terrorism. So sort of associated with disrespect of women, for the simple fact that like they can have more than one woman. How can you respect you know that type of thinking, that the woman, her wants and where her heart is and her soul is irrelevant. It's all about the gratification of this male. But that's neither here or there. That's my ideas on that. But but so Trump, Trump's like well, everybody knows Trump was talking to Russia beforehand, and now like Trump thinks he's gonna get that guy back. What's his name? Spolton, the The one that was the whistleblower that was in Russia now. So anyway, to get him sent back. Why? But anyway, like I was. Anyway, let me get back to it. That is the only thing that is in our favor. We know that what that they lost, they lose their wars. Civil War, the war that they're looking at with Hitler, lost wars. They're idolizing losers anyway, and they got them built up to some highfalutin. It wasn't Hitler that was running that war. It was the oil companies, just like they're doing now. You know, and and so um um and and so that's who won the one. That's who got was able to make a lot of money off of the war. That's also, I believe, when China right after that started making the uniforms in the United States. And they eventually just busted up the American um, sewing union. Oh, what was that one union? Look for the union. Can't remember. Look for the labor union. But anyway, they busted up all that union, and they busted it up from the inside with criminals. They busted up. They started off with with good people working for them and everything. Then they got criminals, and then it's like, oh, and then when they got the criminals in there, it was like, well, these niggas is making too much money, like in Detroit. So their master plan is to get the money out of the niggers' hands. So so it's a wonderful plan. I think probably even the Chinese might think it's wonderful how the Russians are doing it. You get the ignorant races, you know, and these are people with money. They went through the school system, and uh, um, in some circles they say that some of the elite just get passed up, you know, uh, 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 just because they're very rich, and you know, and they just figure, oh, something will sink in. You know what I'm saying? Like they're, like anyway. So that's how it looks with Trump. Like they just passed them on, whatever. Um, and maybe some of the other ones in there, because like so far everything that they've done has they hadn't been like any investigation. I finally heard Trump today tell somebody, I'm going to look into that. He had the police. He was talking to the police, and the police had this thing where they were taking people's money, supposedly drug money, but they just pocketing the money. The people didn't like, they wouldn't even go to court or anything. They just sending people off. These people are out of their money. Maybe they're gonna, because like I know the last car I bought, like, well, every car I ever bought, I always use cash. So if you had pulled me over that time, I had enough money to buy a car, like, $5,000. They're like, oh, okay, you're gonna go buy drugs. You know what I'm saying? And they'll just keep it, and you're out of the money that you've been working for. Even if you was a dope dealer, there's a certain amount of hours, just like there's a certain amount of hours that the police put in. So anyway, thinking that you sort of, so they could use that stinking thing, and they could use that type of racist ideas, because like I know here in this area here, they've been so devastated with the I guess with racism, ignorance, the way they treat their kids from the day one. you know um, you could tell there's a lot of trauma, that these women have to go through, that you would just like, like hit your, the kid could be 4 or 5 days old and they cry, so they have a lot of hitting for crying, which makes no sense. But anyway, so you're easy to manipulate these type of people, because they already fell into the propaganda, to where, like now, they're hurting themselves. But there is a growth spurt that will go, they call awakening, in which they don't want the black community to have to, like, so you got the sports to keep you busy, and you got them overly sexed, and the drugs to keep them too busy, and with our fucked up relationships. Who has time to really pay attention to what the policies are? Otherwise we would have never got some of the laws passed that have been so harmful in the black community. Uh, and, so we know that this type of racist type of thinking and attitude usually is being manipulated by another force, like it was with Hitler. They needed the war, uh, really to rob Africa. You got to remember World War I, World War II. It was all in Africa, Indiana Jones type of shit, where they were just, you know, uh, still, they're taking those stuff out of the pyramid, um, uh, and anthropologists, and they were just stealing for their government. And usually, you're connected to one branch of the military a lot of times because everybody got drafted by then because there was we've been at war forever. So, that you could see how they was able to manipulate Africa using racism and stuff like that. It's easy to get white America, up in a big hubble. So I believe Trump is being manipulated. Bander is being manipulated, by just his greed. Um, uh, 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 anyway, and that's just my assumption. So it looks like though that the CIA has good information on voter fraud, and like they'll say, oh well, they didn't do it when you punched in that type of that. What they do is like like all the information that they give from each voter box, each goes into a master. It does eventually go into a computer, like when they're counting the votes. So they're not doing it from when you change everybody's vote when you push your vote in. They just change it when it's going from when the information is getting input, you know. So that's basically um, and I don't know how Russia's going to get rid of that guy when that guy just did them a great favor, even though he's there's no. That's just I'm alleging that the information that he had brought to Russia helped to figure out, But Russian people, like, they can figure that stuff out because um uh, um their country has been more worried about capturing other countries and dogging other people out, and the Cold War and doing stuff like that, and they never really worried too much about building business or infrastructure because they make a lot of money off of oil. But I don't even know what else they do. Vodka. They're not even smart enough to do fish ponds to where they could just have. Maybe they do have fish. But like the other big thing is caviar. Yeah. Salty fish eggs. Ugh. Anyway, so it looks like I see their whole. I see the whole Republicans like heading down a treason way, because like because he already saw that it's very obvious to anybody that's been in third grade that they were violating the constitutional rights for the freedom of religion. So and Trump is not presidential because he doesn't know how to talk. I don't know who is writing his speeches for him. But most presidents do have somebody that writes for them, uh, um, and they could go over it. Trump doesn't have anybody that's really on his side. They're all just a bunch of thirsty dots that are just up there, uh, you know, as parasites to suck the life out of the Constitution uh, of America.